Today, we'll be exploring how affiliate organizations impact the CDFI certification process and what applicants need to know when they are a part of a broader family of entities. We'll discuss when and how affiliate information must be disclosed and reviewed and how it impacts an organization's path to certification. Here's a brief roadmap of what we'll cover today. We'll begin with an overview of why affiliates matter in the CDFI certification process. We'll also determine key terms or define key terms and look at how controlling relationships are identified. Then we'll break down the requirements that apply when affiliates are involved, both in terms of primary mission requirements and the collective review. Then we will provide resources to support your certification journey. Let's begin by looking at the role affiliates play in the certification process. The presence of affiliates can affect how an applicant is evaluated for CDFI certification. Certain affiliates are relevant for either the primary mission requirements as well as the collective review. To assess a CDFI's primary mission, the CDFI Fund considers additional information on either the organization that controls the applicant or any affiliate that engages in eligible financing activity. All CDFI certification applicants will convey whether or not its affiliates should be considered for primary mission purposes of the application. If an applicant indicates yes to having a relevant affiliate in the CDFI certification application, it's question BI 18, then specific affiliate-related subsections are activated. If an entity is subject to the collective review, the following affiliates are relevant for CDFI certification purposes. Any affiliate that is a DIHC or an IDI that controls the applicant. If an applicant is a DIHC, any affiliate that controls that directly provides financing activity. And then the last one is any affiliate under common control by a DIHC or an IDI with the applicant and directly provides financial products or services. I realize now that I didn't necessarily explain what a DIHC or an IDI is, so I'm going to take a second. A DIHC that stands for Depository Institution Holding Company, and that's essentially a bank holding company or a savings and loans holding company. And an IDI is short for essentially a bank or thrift entity. So just to iterate, the affiliates that are relevant for the collective review are any affiliate that is either a DIHC or an IDI that controls the applicant. If the applicant itself is a DIHC or a holding company, any affiliate that it controls that provides financing activity. And then the last one would be any affiliate under common control underneath of a DIHC or an IDI that the applicant that is controlled by the applicant or controlled with one and the same as the applicant, and it directly provides financing activity. So let's move on to the next aspect. Certain application questions in the basic information sections of the application identify whether or not an organization is subject to the collective review for banking entities. A yes in any of these fields indicates that the applicant is subject to the CDFI certification collective review process, and this means that the activity of the applicant and certain affiliates will be evaluated together collectively. When this happens, specific affiliate subsections are activated in the application, and these must be completed. We've just reviewed when affiliates become relevant in the application process. Next, we'll look at how affiliates are defined. We have a key term, affiliate. According to our regulations, an affiliate is an entity that either controls, is controlled by, or operates under common control with another organization. Understanding this definition is critical because controlling relationships determine whether the affiliate must be considered for the CDFI certification. Our next key term is control. Understanding how control is defined and identifying whether an entity falls under that condition among other organizations is essential to accurately identifying relevant affiliates for the CDFI certification. There are 3 conditions of control that bring about an affiliate relationship for the CDFI certification process. The first condition of control is ownership, control, or power to vote on 25% or more of outstanding shares of any class of voting securities of a company, and directly or indirectly acting through one or more persons. The second condition of control is control in any manner over the election of a majority of directors, trustees, general partners, or individuals exercising the similar functions of a company. The last condition is power to exercise, either directly or indirectly, a controlling influence over management, credit, or investment decisions or policies of any company. And this definition is coming straight from our regulation. The first condition relates to stock, share, voting securities, and their ownership, while the second condition relates to governing leadership appointment power. In examining the definitions for control, affiliates can be identified clearly within an entity's stock certificate summary report or organizing or governance documents. But let's take a moment to explain in greater detail how the CDFI fund interprets the term controlling influence. Some common dynamics of controlling influence that can concur or is allowed to concur in the following way. There's a dynamic 1, governing or managing board. Control can exist at the governing or managing board level if an affiliate appoints, nominates, or occupies a majority or a substantial minority of the seats on an entity's governing or managing board. It indicates that an affiliate has control over the relevant entity via its leadership board. So that is one dynamic of a controlling influence. The next dynamic relates to general operations, business plan, budget. Control can exist if an affiliate plays an active role in an entity's operation or in establishing and or implementing its business plan or overall budget. A passive role in an entity's operation via something like funding-related compliance requirements or funding-related compliance review processes are not indicative of a controlling relationship, but it's simply when there's a more active role that an affiliate has over establishing the operations and implementing its business plans and budget. The third dynamic relates to financing decisions. Control can exist if an affiliate plays an active role in either deciding how or where financial products will be deployed or has veto power over even some of the entity's underwriting or financing decisions, or appointing, nominating, or occupying a majority or substantial minority of certain seats on an entity's loan or investment committee. kind of like the last dynamic, a passive role in an entity's financing decisions via something like funding related compliance requirements or funding related review processes is not indicative of a controlling relationship here. Dynamic number 4 relates to staffing. If an entity's staffing is provided by an affiliate, either through contract or in fact, or just in fact, that may constitute a controlling influence over the management of that entity. So these are 4 dynamics that relate to this term within the third condition of control, this controlling influence over the management, credit, or investment decisions of or the policies of a company. You may have heard me reference a substantial minority when discussing controlling influences related to financing decisions or governing or managing board leadership. And I'm going to cover what that substantial minority term really means. A substantial minority of a board is less than half of the number of board members, but still enough to be able to influence or impact how the board functions or how it makes decisions. The number of board members that constitutes a substantial minority depends on the board parameters, including the board size, how it's structured, and how it operates. An affiliate may exhibit control over an entity via its governing board when it fills or has the right to occupy less than 50% of the governing board seats if the board seats that it does fill or has the right to occupy have special powers that it fulfills. Examples of special powers that a relevant board seat could retain are special veto power or power over budget decisions, etc. Examples of key board positions can include the chair of the board, the nominating committee members, or loan committee members. Now that we covered the controlling influence term, let's bring it back to the definition of control. I want to make clear that these defined terms, as well as the CDFI fund's interpretation of these terms, are relevant for CDFI certification. There are other CDFI fund funding programs, perhaps, that might be less related to the CDFI certification that might have different definitions of this controlling relationship that make 2 entities relevant affiliates for that particular program. So when applying for CDFI certification, when seeking to maintain CDFI certification, we are looking at this specific definition of control as it relates to whether or not 2 entities would be considered affiliates. We've had an overview of the relevant affiliates considerations and the defined key terms. In the next section, I'm going to be transparent in how the CDFI fund identifies and confirms relevant affiliates. I'm breaking down how the CDFI fund reviews and confirms any relevant affiliate relationships based on our definition of control and as such, as seen on this screen. For the first condition of control relating to ownership or voting securities, the CDFI fund evaluates an entity's stock summary report and its governance document. When an organization issues stocks, that organization is required to submit their current stock ownership summary report indicating any individuals or entities that own 25% or more of its available voting stock shares. All organizations are required to attach a copy of its current leadership-approved governance document, that is, bylaws, operating agreements, partnership agreements, or similar. And this document will be evaluated to confirm the responses regarding affiliates via ownership control as identified in the governance document. For the second condition of a controlling relationship relating to formal governing leader appointment power, this attached governance document also will be used to convey the relevant affiliate relationship, or it may be used. And to evidence any controlling influences per the last condition of control, the attached governance document is also used and provided in the application. I want to also cover the other methods the CDFI fund uses to identify control besides what is directly submitted within the application. The Federal Financial Institutions Examination Council, we do a search of organizations in the search institutions function to see if there are any relationships between relevant affiliates. The next would be the FDIC Institution Directory. We use the Bank Find suite to learn more about applicants' potential relationships among affiliates. We use AMIS affiliate/related entity list, and we check AMIS to see if there are any identified affiliates that should be relevant for CDFI certification. When there's any uncertainty presented in the application materials upon whether or not two organizations should be considered relevant affiliates, we also might look at other federal regulator databases to see if there's anything that would substantiate that type of relationship. Let's cover the affiliate primary mission requirements. In order for an organization to become certified or maintain the certification, if they have relevant affiliates as covered previously, a relevant affiliate must meet the following requirements. It has an approved mission that supports the community development mission of the applicant. It provides a description of how the affiliate's mission and activities support the applicant. And it shows that they meet the CDFI certification primary mission related responsible financing practices. The three columns articulate the requirements for affiliates' primary mission documentation. The mission statement must broadly support the applicant's community development mission, even if it's not squarely community development focused itself. The mission must be approved by the organization's governing leadership, and the document that evidences the affiliate's mission must be on one of the CDFI fund accepted document types: an organizing document, a governance document, or a governing board resolution. For more information about the primary mission affiliate requirements, check out information in a recent webinar we hosted on the primary mission. Now let's cover the affiliate requirements for collective review. During the CDFI certification application review process, the CDFI fund will review the individual activities of an applicant, as well as the activity of an applicant's affiliates to make sure that the applicant and its affiliates collectively meet the requirements for CDFI certification. This is essentially the collective review, and it's specifically to entities that are subject to this collective review, which are banking entities. For the collective review, the requirement for primary mission is nearly the same as what was previously described for primary mission. The main difference in this case is that the affiliates themselves must have a primary mission of promoting community development. For the collective review primary mission requirements, an affiliate has to have an approved mission of community development. It must provide a description of how the affiliate's mission and activities support the applicants, and it must show that the affiliate meets the responsible financing practices. The three columns articulate the requirements for affiliates' primary mission documentation for collective review. The mission must convey, the mission itself must convey references to providing financing to distressed communities or targeted populations identified by the CDFI fund, promoting efforts such as affordable housing or economic development, or supporting community services. The mission itself must be approved by the organization's governing leadership. And for DIHCs, well, let me back up and say, when the applicant is a DIHC, the relevant affiliates that are providing information about their mission must have a primary mission of community development for at least 6 months and approved prior to the submission of its application. As similarly stated, the documentation must be on one of the CDFI fund's accepted document types, which are organizing documents, which that's like articles of incorporation, charter, something similar to that. A governance document, what could be the bylaws, operating agreement, partnership agreement, or it could be on a governing leadership approved resolution or directive. For target market purposes, at least 60% of the combined financing activity of the applicant and its affiliates must be dedicated to a collective review CDFI certification market. The affiliates themselves do not need to meet the 60% threshold individually for their target market components of the collective CDFI certification market. It's tested in, or it's tested collectively to make sure that collectively as a whole, the financing activity is directed to the CDFI certification market. The following steps relate to how affiliates would submit this information for a target market activity benchmark. Step 1, you identify a collective review market for each of the affiliates. Step 2, create a CDFI certification market record in for specifically the collective review purpose in each of the affiliates' AMIS profiles. Step 3, you upload a TLR presenting activity for each relevant affiliate. And step 4, you run the target market calculator for the applicant, and that would be connected to all the relevant affiliates to determine something called the affiliate organization threshold. For the collective review for the collective review accountability requirements, each affiliate must demonstrate its accountability to the collective review market components via its own accountability methods. It's worth noting here that there is a special option for controlling entities for collective review accountability. If you're interested in more information on the collective review requirements for both the applicant and the relevant affiliates, please check out our collective review process webinar that was recently presented the last winter. So let's close this presentation with some helpful resources. For more details, visit the CDFI Fund's public website. That's www.cdfifund.gov and /CDFI cert, where you'll find certification requirements, information about pre-approved target market assessment methodologies, recorded webinars, AMIS demonstrations. And if you have questions, the fastest way to get help is by submitting an AMIS service request through your entity's AMIS account. This next slide includes the schedule of all of our upcoming CDFI certification webinars. Thank you very much for participating in today's session. We look forward to support your CDFI certification process.